Greetings and welcome back. El Rushbo behind the golden EIB microphone at 800-282-2882. Now, the grand jury down in in Houston, over this Planned Parenthood thing. Here you have the Harris County DA convene a grand jury with these two people from the, I never can remember the name of their group. Let me grab this rule. It's the come on, what is it? Center for Medical Progress. These two people, a guy and a girl from the Center for Medical Progress, go in and make secret videotapes of having lunch with or meetings otherwise with members of Planned Parenthood to get them on videotape and audio tape talking about chopping up dead babies and selling, in some cases, live tissue parts, dead tissue parts, with selling them for profit. They pose as potential buyers. So a grand jury is convened in Harris County, Texas, which is Houston, for the apparent purpose of compiling and creating and presenting evidence against Planned Parenthood for what they've done. And in the process, something goes terribly wrong, and the two people from the Center for Medical Progress end up being indicted for criminal behavior in the way they secured the videos, and now they are subject to 20-year jail terms. So I reached out to some trusted legal people, and this is a sensible take on what happened. And it does involve a rogue prosecutor who was able to take the circumstances on the ground and do a 180 with them. And here's the point. In a regular criminal investigation that is undercover, which is what the two people from the Center for Medical Progress, what just happened? Center for Medical Progress essentially went in undercover. They were disguised as potential buyers. That is key here. In a regular criminal investigation that's undercover, the police undercover operatives, the black bag operatives, the undercover agents, and their undercover informants have immunity in the criminal transactions they're negotiating. Like if you go undercover to score a big heroin deal, you can't get prosecuted for buying heroin in the process because you're granted immunity as part of being an undercover agent, right? Make sense? Well, what the prosecutor did here is essentially say journalists do not have this legal immunity to do undercover work as the cops do. You can't just say I'm a journalist and go in there undercover and be immune from whatever criminal actions you engage in order to entrap or ensnare your targets. Now, this is a guess. It's an analysis of what might have gone on. A rogue prosecutor who knows that journalists do not have legal immunity to do undercover work as the cops would have. So even though the journalists, the two people from the Center for Medical Progress, even though they didn't really want to buy baby parts any more than any undercover cop really wants to buy a bag of crack cocaine, you have pro-abortion activists in the DA's office. You've got a Planned Parenthood board member in the DA's office who are taking advantage of the fact that the undercover journalists from the Center for Medical Progress do not have immunity protection, the same as an undercover officer or confidential informant would have, and so they can be charged. So all that has to happen is that your rogue prosecutor, working in consort with your pro-abortion activists in DA's office, get in the grand jury room and start explaining all this to the grand jury, which made up potentially your average Hillary voter, for all we know. And you start explaining what really went on here. Here we have this great organization, Planned Parenthood, that's trying to plan families and trying to protect women from the terrible, almost fatal disease of pregnancy, And here come these rogue agents disguised as journalists, but they don't have immunity, and they're the ones who've engaged in criminal activity, and the prosecutor can present whatever case she wants in there, and you can have these grand jurors. This is outrageous. You mean they did all that? They played, and true. We think they're the ones that ought to go to jail, not the Planned Parenthood people. We think they're the ones that ought to go to jail. Prosecutor smiles. Comes, I got an indictment, but it's for the Center for Medical Progress. And everybody's going, what? So it could be something entirely different, but this is a theory that makes complete, total sense to me, because it is, in fact, rooted in legal truth.